Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, it is currently 4:28 a.m. on this Tuesday evening going into Wednesday morning. It is a freezing 39 degrees outside. If you live in the Midwest, I hope that you brought your flowers in so they don't get frosted over. I did not. I should have, but I didn't. And I have been driving around listening to my audiobook, trying to finish this audiobook that I'm like almost halfway done with. No, I'm almost halfway through. I'm at the halfway mark. And just before that, and I'm still like not into this book. I mean, it's not like the worst book in the entire world, and like I have moments where I'm kind of like, oh, I'm into this, I kind of am interested in it. And then I have moments where I'm kind of like not in it. So I turned around and I was listening to some music, and I was just like, I love to just like put on my iTunes and shuffle it. And that song, Love at the Five and Dime, came on. And it's like one of my all-time favorite songs. I don't know if you guys know it. I originally heard it sung by Kathy Mattea. And I actually remember the first time that I ever heard it was Oprah had all of these country music stars, women, country divas on their, on her show. And they were like, she had like Kathy Mattea, they were like the new and upcoming like country music stars at the time. And it was like Kathy Mattea, who I love, Katie Oslin, who had this song at the time called 80s Ladies that I loved, and then Mary Chapin Carpenter, who is like one of my all-time favorite musicians, and I have like every song of hers ever that she's ever sung on my phone and my iTunes. And if you don't know her story is really cool. So she really wanted to be like a country music star, and she would talk about it and she would talk about it, and I think I'm getting this right. Well, this is the rough story, but anyway, her dad got so sick and tired of hearing her talk about it that he drove her to Nashville to one of those like amateur nights, and he was like, here, you're gonna play, go up there and play. And she did, and she got discovered. And one of the things I love about country music is the stories. And my hair actually looked cute tonight, but I slept on it, so it doesn't look so cute now, but I didn't want to put a hat on. So anyway, one of the things I love about country music is the stories. And Love at the Five and Dime is about this couple that meets, and he's in a band, and she actually goes off with somebody else in the band, and he goes off with this other girl, and then they come back and they get together, and they're like together like for the rest of their lives. And a lot of country music songs are like that. And Mary Chapin Carpenter songs are, they're very sad, some of them, but I would say she's more of like a storyteller. Like in ways she reminds me more of a folk artist. You know, I grew up, my mom's two favorite musicians probably when I was growing up, or I would say the musicians that my mom played the most. Although I have a very fond memories of my mom and her friend dancing in our library to Thelma Houston's Don't Leave Me This Way, and I used to love that song when I was a kid. But anyway, by the way, I only have one battery because for some reason my camera was in the car for the meeting, because I was like, after the meeting maybe I'll vlog, which I didn't end up doing. So when I was leaving tonight, I did not grab any other batteries. So as far as this will take me is as long as the vlog is going to be tonight. But my mom loved Judy Collins and Bob Dylan. It's funny because I was listening to both of them tonight. I was listening to Bob Dylan, Hey Mr. Tambourine Man, or Mr. Tambourine Man, and Blowing in the Wind, both live at the concert for Bangladesh, which is like one of my favorite live concerts of life. And if you've never heard it, look it up. and it's fantastic. Specifically, I would say like Ravi Shankar's part on all of that, but Bob Dylan is fantastic at it too. And then my mom listened to a lot of Judy Collins when I was growing up, a lot of Judy Collins. And Judy Collins is very much a storyteller too, and I was listening to her song earlier called Holly Ann, which is about her sister. And Holly Ann is a weaver. And I don't know, I was just thinking about it tonight. You know, it's like I listened to this song, you know, Love at the Five and Dime, and it's about this couple that just grows old together. And Mary Chapin Carpenter actually has a song called Come Grow Old with Me. Do, 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 do. And I was just thinking about, you know, like, I like big experiences, and I like all the nice stuff that everybody likes, you know, or maybe some people like. But isn't life so much just about those simple moments, you know, or like the opportunity? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about this, and we were talking about like Mother's Day gifts, you know, and I said something about like, well, what did your kids get you for Mother's Day? And she's like, you know, I really just like hanging out with everybody in the family, and I'm so like that too, you know. Alex asked me the other day what I wanted to do for my birthday, which is coming up in June, and I said, because our birthdays are like 7 days apart, and so we like, you know, and I said, well, let's focus more on your birthday this year, because my 50th is next year, so we'll probably, you know, do something. If we can travel somewhere big, I would like to be able to do that next year. We'll see what the world's like, you know, but I was thinking, you know, like there's nothing that I really want for my birthday. And I think, and he was like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to like get a big group of people and go out to dinner and stuff? Which, that's fine. I don't really like the center of it. I know this is going to sound crazy. People are going to like, Peter, you have 6 channels and, you know, you love, you know, YouTube. I do. I love all that, right? But when it comes to things like my birthday, like I don't like to be the center of attention. Like I don't like to have a bunch of people go out to dinner for me, like, or have a party for me. Like I don't enjoy that. I don't really know how to explain that. But I don't really know how to explain the difference. But I was thinking, you know, like back in the day, like the way that I like to spend my birthday, and movie theaters are closed right now here in Indianapolis. The majority of them, the ones that we go to, are closed. And I really liked going just to see a double feature, and then Alex and I would eat in between, or we would eat after. And that was just kind of like my favorite way of like spending my birthday, you know? And he was like, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I said, I don't care, you know, probably just go to the pool and hang out and relax. And a couple years ago, we went to dinner with Tanya and her husband and my sponsor, and we had a good time. We went to Harry and Izzy's. Isn't it weird? Like, and when I was younger, I didn't like to do birthday parties because I didn't have great turnouts to birthday parties, and I had a really bad experience at a birthday party one time. I think I've shared about this, where somebody, I mean, it's funny, but it wasn't funny when you were, it's funny in retrospect, but it's not funny as a kid. I stood up, I used to wear those, like, my grandma would always get Caroline and I for our birthdays and for Christmas, those, like, track suits, you know, that are, like, all the rage today, but they were, like, when I was a kid, you know, we would get them for tennis and stuff. And I had a pair of those on. Well, they're, like, you know, I mean, I stood up. It was like a circle, like we were sitting on the porch, and people were, like, handing me presents to unwrap. And I don't even know how, it was like a couple kids from my tennis group. It was like people I didn't really know very well. I think that was part of it, you know, like, it was always like birthday parties. If I did anything for my birthday, it was always like, later after this, we went to like Kings Island, I would go with my dad and then take like, I think there was a couple years where it was just my dad and I, but I would take like a friend, but it was always like a friend of like my dad's. Like it was like, you know, a son of like one of my dad's friends. So they weren't really like friends of mine. But anyway, I don't know, there's probably 5 or 6 people at this birthday party. It really wasn't that big of a deal. And it was like 2 people that I played tennis with, or 3 people. And because I was in this tennis camp in the summer. And then like a couple family friends, like my mom's friends, her 2 daughters were there, I remember. And I don't know who else, but anyway, a neighbor across the street or something that I was friends with, the 2 neighbor girls that lived on our cul-de-sac as well, probably. And I stood up and this kid de-pantsed me. And I was like I mean, I've always been really socially awkward and embarrassed about stuff. And I mean, I just was overly embarrassed. As you can imagine, you know. I mean, I know it sounds stupid, like, you know, looking back on it. But at that time, I mean, I was probably, I don't really know how old I was, 8 or 9 maybe. I was young, you know. And, 10 maybe, I don't know. It was hard. It's interesting, you know, like I see my nephews and they're like, you know, Carlitos is the age that stuff was like really affecting me. That then like affected me like for the rest of my life. And Carlitos is a pretty popular kid. Like, he has a group of kids he runs with. He's very active in sports. Sebastian, not so much. Sebastian is a little bit more, like, he is very close with Carlitos. I mean, he's younger too, you know, but like, it's weird thinking like at that age, that stuff that was happening to me at school, like, would then affect me all these years later, you know? And I know there's a lot of people that are like, just get over it. You've been holding on to this for your whole life. And hey, I would like to get rid of it too. But the reality is there are, you know, wounds and scars there that have affected me my entire life on how I look at things and, you know, how I feel about things. And so, anyway. You know, the reality is, even as much as I was bullied growing up, like, I can remember in elementary school, people that had it much worse than I did. Isn't that sad? Like, I can remember kids that were bullied a lot worse than I was. Like, there was this girl that I went to school with, and I remember people, like, made fun of her and called her ugly and that she smelled, and she was, like, people would say she was, like, dirty and poor and stuff like that. I remember, like, all kinds of kids would say stuff. And you know what's interesting is, I can remember, like, there was this kid on my tennis team. I remember his name. I don't even know how I remember his name. I played tennis with him probably until I was in about 8th grade, and he was, like, 2 years older than me. And he was really shy, and, like, people would pick on him. And I would always defend him. I would always be like, don't talk about him that way. And he would get mad at me. He'd be like, don't defend me, blah, blah, blah. I don't need you to, like, protect me. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to be nice, you know? It was like I couldn't win anything that I did. If I tried to help somebody out, you know, I lost. If I was being bullied, I lost. It was like, whatever. Somebody commented on my vlog the other day, and they said that they went through a similar experience as I had growing up, but they can't go back and change it. And basically, they persevered, and it made them a stronger adult. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Like, I notice, this is gonna sound strange, but like, I notice, like, in my personal life with, like, friends and family, that there are things that I maneuver differently, having gone through what I went through. I don't even know an example. It just made me a stronger adult, I think, in some ways. But in other ways, I'm gonna go this way. But if I could go back and have it be different, trust, I would. I would go back and not have gone through all that stuff and felt included. And, you know, I always say when people reach out to me for cameos, for birthdays, I always say on there that it's crazy to me because I was a kid that wasn't invited to birthday parties. I wasn't invited to birthday parties. And until I started saying it, I almost didn't really realize it. Like, looking back, I don't remember going to birthday parties. Like, yes, if it was like, we did a lot of stuff with, like, kids that were the kids of my mom and dad's friends. But I don't know how much of that was, like, because they realized I really didn't have anybody, I mean, I talk about when I was in high school. I had some close friends in high school. I did. I had a group of like 6 girls that were like super, super protective of me. And that started kind of in 9th grade and then definitely in 10th grade. It was like the tail end of 9th grade. I sat with them at lunch. And I did have friends here and there. I had a friend of mine, and then he moved to Arizona. We were kind of friends. And then, I mean, we were okay friends. And then, I would have a friend here and there, but they just wouldn't last very long, And it's interesting because a couple of those people, I think, weirdly, in retrospect, kind of feel bad about it, and maybe there was more to it than I knew, than, like, they just didn't want to be my friend because by association or something. Because a couple of them have been, like, just super nice to me, and, like, I would say the last 10 years, like, since the whole Facebook thing, they've reached, not just, like, my bully, because he did reach out to me, but, like, other people, too, have been like, hey, like, it's really good to see what you're up to in your life, and I'm glad you're happy, and, we should get together for, lunch sometime and just catch up. And I'm like, yeah, because we haven't talked since 6th grade, but sure, let's do that. Like, I have absolutely no desire to find out what's going on with you in your life, but sure, let's get together and have coffee. It's kind of crazy to me, but I think people remember stuff. I don't know. My cousin Caroline doesn't. She doesn't remember anything. I'll be like, do you remember when this and this and this happened? She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But, I say in the cameos, I'm like, it's crazy to me that people reach out to me and want me to say happy birthday to them. Because when 40 years ago, nobody wanted me at their birthday party. I wasn't invited. Do you know what's crazy to me is, like, I grew up in that generation when you would, like, invite everybody from your class to your birthday party. And I remember kids talking about, like, birthday parties at the skating rink, birthday parties at the roller skating rink, birthday parties at the pumpkin patch, I mean, I remember kids talking about that stuff. And I remember just sitting there being really, really quiet. Like, I don't remember anybody making a big deal out of the fact that I wasn't there. But I do remember feeling, like, so on the outside. Like, I'm not part of this at all, and feeling pushed on the outside. Almost kind of, like, weirdly, like, on the outside looking in. Like, I was, like, this is gonna sound so strange, but almost like I'm watching myself at that time as a kid in a classroom, but I'm not the kid in the classroom. Like, I'm just watching it. Isn't that weird? I really had to kind of just, like, numb out a lot of stuff. And I know people would find this hard to believe, but, like, the majority of the time, I was a really quiet kid in school. Like, I didn't talk a lot. I didn't want to bring attention to myself. That was probably one of my defense mechanisms, is that I just didn't talk. What is that? Leo's Market and Eatery. I just didn't talk. Never heard of that before. And I didn't want to bring attention to myself. And I think that's why when I talk about 6th grade, like, I remember my teacher in 6th grade. It was this guy. And it was the first time that I had had a male teacher. And he was so nice. And I remember our classroom was just like he kind of demanded that everybody got along. And we all, like, and it was like one of those classes where I think we had like science with a different teacher and math with a different teacher, but other than that, we had him for everything else. And so like we were in that class for like the whole year, you know? And I remember his name and everything. And he was such a nice, I can see him in my head. He had a beard, and I think his wife taught at the school too. And he just was such a great guy. And I can remember that was like the first time that I felt like really part of a class. And I had my 2 girlfriends that were in that class as well, you know? And I felt like a part of something. I think that's why when I got sober and I got into a 12-step program, it was like, and then when I met Tanya and my friends that I used to hang out with, it was like the first time that I felt included in something, you know? It's a big deal. You know, if you work in a work environment and every day you go out to lunch with the same couple people and there's that one person that never goes to lunch with anybody, ask them out. Ask them to see if they want to go with you, you know, or if you can bring them something back. It's just, it takes very little to do stuff like that, you know? It's funny because I've been trying so hard in the last year or two to really, you know, get to know my neighbors and talk to my neighbors. My neighbor across the street, she's been really trying to help out with the landscaping stuff because she's a supposed master landscaper, which by the look of her yard, she is. And so anyway, I was leaving the house today and she said, hey Peter, she was like, I was thinking about your bushes. And so she was giving me some suggestions about different, like, she was like, you know those yellow bushes? I think those would be nice if you mixed them in and had some, but anyway, we were talking, and so I was asking her and her husband, because he came outside, if they were from around here. She was talking about, she had these shells, like, in her yard, and it looked really, I liked it. I said, oh, I like your shells. And she said, oh, I got those at my mom's house when I was cleaning out their house. And I said, oh, did you guys grow up around here? And her husband did, but she didn't. And she said where she was from. Well, she's from the same city that Tanya's from. And I said, oh my God, that is so crazy. I said, you are from the same town that my best friend is from. And I didn't realize, but they're a little bit older than I thought they were. They're more Tanya's husband's age. I thought they were younger. And I said, you know, I asked her if she knew Tanya, and I said Tanya's, you know, name and whatever, her maiden name, and she didn't know, and then her married name, and she goes, oh, I know them. And it was so funny because she knew Tanya's husband. She knew like his whole family, like his mom and everything. And I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. What a small world it is, you know? And I think people just want to be part of something, you know, and they want to be talked to and included. I know I did, you know, I know I do, you know. How did I get here from country music? I don't know. I was talking about country music, and I was talking about the simplicity of country music, and I don't know, I was just reminded tonight, you know, I got all of my stuff done on time and that I wanted to get done, and my videos, and I ran upstairs and took a shower and got the dogs fed, and Alex went to go work out, and he was getting a Chipotle on the way home, and I wanted him to be able to relax, so I was putting the dishes away and feeding the dogs, and I did the dishes, then I fed the dogs, and then I ran upstairs and took a shower, and I made the bed real nice for him for when he came home, and I got this new spray. I don't know if I like it as well as the Meadow, but they don't have that Meadow anymore at Target, so I buy this other spray. But anyway, I was making the bed real nice. Had not the new pillows, but the older big pillows on there, and that we used before Christmas, and got ready, and I don't know, it was just like, and then I picked up Tanya, and she and I were laughing and when stuff. I talked to my sponsor today, and you know, it's that stuff that just like, I feel like I have such an amazing life. Like, I get up every day, and you know, stuff that used to bother me is not the same stuff that would bother me anymore either. Like, so I went today and I went to go film a vlog, or I vlogged earlier today, but I went to go film a review video. So I reviewed this cookie butter chai, okay? But while I was reviewing it, I realized that Starbucks has a new drink that came out today. So I wanted to review that instead. So I went and I reviewed that when I was done vlogging. So I got home, purposely made sure I knew what I was doing, that I went in and rendered them each separately and saved it, because I didn't want to delete it, because I was going to save the other one, the cookie butter chai, for tomorrow. So I'm sitting there and I'm like cleaning up my computer and everything and getting everything ready for tomorrow, because I like to, like, when I leave, you know, for the night, get everything ready for tomorrow. And I went in and I deleted that damn video, you know? And I came upstairs when I got home from my meeting, and I was talking to Alex about it, and I was laughing, and I said, he goes, you do that all the time. And I said, well, I don't do it as much as I used to. He just laughed. And he goes, can you get it back? And I said, well, I mean, you can get it back with this software and stuff, but it's just a real mess. I said, I'll just redo the review. You know, it's like that stuff 5 years ago would have drove me crazy. Like, I would have been like, I can't believe I deleted that video. I just don't have it in me. I don't have the capacity for that anymore, you know? I hope. Not over a review video that I can redo, you know? And, I don't know. It was just like I talked to my sponsor before I came home and filmed some videos. Talked to my neighbor, you know, and went to my meeting, hung out with my friends, had a great meeting tonight, and watched a little bit of RuPaul's Work the World Tour, hung out with my husband and the dogs, got to listen to some of my audiobook. You know, what more can you ask for, you know? It's a pretty amazing life. And I'm really thankful. I think the trick to life is this. Is that Hardee's open already? Oh my God, if it was, I could eat me a little hash browns over there. Maybe a little Coke or something. But I think the trick to life, really, I think this is it, is not yearning for more, but being grateful for what you have. And I know I've said that a lot, but I try to remind myself of that, because it's truly what it's about, you know? It's truly about being really, really grateful for the amazing life that you have, or the things that you have, being grateful for them, even if it's not a lot, you know? It's like that simple abundance that author talked about on Oprah. I've talked about that a lot. She wrote the book called Simple Abundance. It's about being appreciative for those things that you do have, you know? I look back on periods of my life. I mean, hell, it's not like, I mean, Alex and I have a small condo. Our condo is like 1,200 square feet, you know? And I have artwork in the condo that makes me happy, and so does he. And, you know, it's colorful. And it was like funny, because I was looking down from the bedroom onto the patio. Was this today? Was it? Because I told Alex about it. Maybe it was yesterday. And there was a bird sitting on the squirrel picnic table. Well, I haven't been feeding the birds on the picnic table, because I just haven't. I just kind of stopped, and then I didn't start it again, you know? And in the winter, I would do it, and then for a while, and then they wouldn't eat off of it. So I was like, well, then they don't want to eat off them damn birds. If they don't want to eat off the picnic table, the squirrel picnic table in the winter, then I'm not going to continue to put food out there. So I stopped, and I hadn't started again, and I thought, and so there was this bird sitting on the picnic table, and I thought, well, she's wondering where the food is, you know? And I thought about all the happiness that simple picnic table brought me last year, you know? That Sarah gave me. I mean, I loved feeding the birds and the squirrels on that picnic table. Hell, I could just sit there forever and just watch the squirrels and the birds on the picnic table. It made me so happy, you know? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, isn't it interesting that, what is this car doing on the wrong side of the road facing me? This brights on. And I thought, but isn't that how it typically is, you know? When I look at the moments in my life that have made me, speaking of abundance, abundantly happy, it's the small moments. It's laying in bed with my husband while we're looking at TikToks, or, oh my God, what was I doing? Oh God, so I started doing this. I do voices for the dogs. And so tonight I was doing this. It's stopped. I didn't know it was that far. Anyway, tonight I was doing this voice for Boo Radley, and because I had been watching the RuPaul's Work the World tour when I first came home, and so I came upstairs. Well, Alex was like putting his stuff away, and he had like taken a shower after he worked out, and had his hair, he's like pinning his hair up, and he's to like get it to go back now and stuff. And so he like does all these treatments to his hair, and so he was walking around. Well, Tucker was like playing with, he has this like stick, this, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a rawhide stick. He can't, oh, come on, it's out of focus. Come into focus. It hasn't done this in a while. There. Alex had given Boo and Tucker these rawhide like strips. Well, they can't rip them apart because they don't have any teeth, right? But Tucker just sits there and licks on it and licks on it. He loves it, just to lick on the taste. I guess it's the taste of it or something. He carries it around with him everywhere. It's hilarious. But anyway, so they have to go in to have their the vet called about, they have to have another checkup on their teeth to see how their teeth are doing, like in healing and stuff again. Because we went like after, you know, like a couple weeks after, and then they have to do another checkup on their teeth. So I've got to schedule that. But so Boo Radley was laying on Alex's pillow, and he just looked so not bothered, like he could, like total diva, right? But it's like those moments, or Tanya and I driving around tonight and just like laughing our butts off at, well, okay, so my friend, so Tanya and I and my friend, we always go to our home group meeting together, and we were leaving the meeting, and Tanya and I were in the same group. We break up into groups of like 4 groups, and then the beginners group. So Tanya and I were in the same group. I was supposed to be in the 4s, but it's in the center of the meeting. I can't ever hear what's going on in the 4s, so I sat in 3s with Tanya tonight. And we talked about the promises and everything that is promised to you, and sobriety and things like that. They're called the 9-step promises. But anyway, it was a fantastic, fantastic meeting tonight. And we talked about we cease fighting anyone and anything, and anyway, and that we would know how to, you know, handle situations that used to baffle us. And it was such a great meeting tonight. But anyway, when we were leaving, Tanya said something about, she said it like off the cuff. She was like, I'm so sad about, she mispronounced her name. She said Tawny Caton, and I go, Tawny Caton? I said, Tawny Katane? I said, what about Tawny Katane? I said, Tawny Katane from the Whitesnake video? I said, I'm obsessed. I love her. I was such a huge Tawny Katane fan when I was in high school. Like, seriously, okay? It's funny because I was always like, I loved the name Tawny, speaking of drag queens, and I always said that if I was going to be a drag queen, that would be one of my names, and my look would be after Tawny Katane. Do you guys know Tawny Katane? I think what was the movie she was in with Tom Hanks? I can't remember. But anyway, so my other friend and I walked outside, and I go, oh my God, Tawny, do you know what she just told me? I'm devastated. And she goes, what? And I said, did you hear about Tawny Katane? And she goes, what about Tawny Katane? I go, she passed away 3 days ago. She goes, oh my God, she did not. And so we started, she goes, from that Whitesnake song. I go, yeah, but I can't remember the Whitesnake song. Now I can't remember it to save my life. And we were just singing it. We sang it like 1,000 times in the parking lot there. And my friend's husband pulled up because he picked her up tonight instead of us taking her home. And we were singing that song, and she got on the front hood of his truck. What is that song? Why can't I think of it now, that Whitesnake song? Another one of somebody that I knew told me tonight that she got tickets for the Black Crowes, and I said, I said, oh, you got tickets for what? And she goes, Black Crows. And I go, hey, little thing, let me light your candle, because mama, I'm sure hard to handle now. Yes, I am. What is that Whitesnake song? It's driving me crazy. Because we kept on just saying the one line, which is the name of the song. Do you guys remember that? Whitesnake would not have been what Whitesnake was if it wasn't for Tawny Kitaen. Let me just say that. She was beautiful. And then I was talking to Valerie, and Valerie said that she thought she was on that Dr. Drew's rehab house. I was like, oh, you know what? That's weird. I kind of remember that. I think she was a couple years ago. I know that she supposedly had some issues with substance abuse. The songs is like, What's Something? Like, not What's Love Got to Do with It, but it's something like that. Not What Do You Want From Me? That's Adam Lambert. We met Adam Lambert. Did you know that? I have a picture with him and everything. He actually, well, I mean, I'm sure there's some Lamberts out there anyway. I'm gonna pull in here and see what this Whitesnake song is, because this is driving me crazy since we just sang it 50 times and I should know it by heart now. But so Alex and I, somebody called us up because we used to do this thing for the radio here in Indianapolis, and they asked us if we wanted free tickets to Adam Lambert, and we were like, yeah, sure. So we went and saw him, and he was at Clues Theater here in Indianapolis, which is on Butler University's campus. It's a part of my book. I wrote it into my book. Not Adam Lambert, but Clues Hall. I have never seen so many Adam Lambert lookalikes in my life. And there was this couple that was right in front of us. I mean, I don't think we knew like 2 words to any of the songs. And Alex and I got laughing so hard because this couple in front of us, they looked just like Adam Lambert. And during that song, they were like, what do you want from me? Do you remember that song? But anyway, we met Adam Lambert, and when we met him with like all these other people that had like won like meet and greets and whatever, and we were just like kind of like, hey, it's cool, like to meet Adam Lambert, right? But there's just like RV like just parked out here. Do you think somebody's like asleep in there or something? I think that's so weird that you would just park in a parking lot. But anyway, when we met him, he's tall, because Alex is like 6'1", and he's taller than Alex, so he's got to be like 6'2" or 6'3", and he came out in just like a t-shirt and like just some kind of like those like Adidas slides or something, and like sweatpants, like just gray sweatpants. He is super, super good looking. He didn't have any makeup on or anything. Super good looking. I was like stunned, like in person, and this has been like 10 years ago that we met him, but I was like, oh my God, like he's really, really super good looking. As soon as I look it up. When I start looking stuff up, I remember it like right away. Has that ever happened to you? That's the weirdest thing. I should probably just look in here. I bet it's in here. Look. Here it is, Tawny Kitaen. Tawny Kitaen, star of Whitesnake videos. Here it is. I looked up this whole article tonight. Oh, and Bachelor Party, dead at 59. She's so pretty, isn't she? Well, you can't really see it, can you? What was the Whitesnake song that she sang? Gorgeous. Here I go again on my own. But it's just called Here I Go Again. Kitaen is perhaps best known for her appearance in the music video for Whitesnake's 1987 smash, Here I Go Again, which featured her displaying seductive and acrobatic dance moves atop a pair of luxury cars. She also appeared in subsequent Whitesnake videos for the song Still a Night, Is This Love, and The Deeper the Love. Is this love that I'm feeling? Oh my God, my generation. Everybody had that Tawny Kitaen hairdo though when I was in high school. Here I go again on my own. I was really never a Whitesnake fan, but I did think that she was super hot. I can remember seeing that video, and I was like, oh my God. And you know what else I remembered? Today, I was listening to, was it today or yesterday? It was yesterday. I was just like going through the different stations, and oh my God, Sarah Vaughan right now, Whatever Lola Wants, is playing on The Chill. Is it like a remix? Oh, it's the Gotan. Have you ever heard the Gotan Project? I love them. Okay, my battery's at the halfway mark, which means I probably don't have much longer to go. But anyway, I found out about the Gotan project. It's Gotan project, like years ago. Oh my God. It is, you put it into your Pandora if anybody uses Pandora anymore. It's so good. But I was listening to 90s radio because I have, this is my radio. This is my programming. Are you ready? Am I serious? I have Chill, that's Radio 53. It's like it's like electronic dance music, but chill. I used to have 54 and 55. Was it 54? No, it's 51 and 52, which are like Diplo, Station, and something else, but I don't listen to those as much anymore because I just have it all downloaded, so I listen to it on my iPhone, or I listen to my iTunes. iTunes, that's what it's called. So I have Chill, and then I have Radio Classics, Entertainment, 148. Right now is the Bob Hope Show, and the guest is Fred Astaire. So it's like old-time radio shows. Then First Wave, which right now is The Cult. The song Rain. I wouldn't say that The Cult is one of my favorite bands. I would not. But I love that station. It's all the music I listened to in high school. And then 40s, which is Harry James, The Man with the Horn. And then the Love Station, Morris Albert, Feelings. I don't know that song. I probably would if I heard it. Then Dave Matthews Band Station, which is always like live music. And then the 50s on 5, Elvis Presley, One Night. And then the 60s on 6, which is the Mamas and the Papas, Words of Love. I love the Mamas and the Papas so much. Did you ever see the movie Beautiful Thing? And the whole soundtrack was all the Mamas and the Papas. It was fantastic. I love Mama Cass. Okay. If you ever see Little Girl Blue, the documentary about Janis Joplin, when Janis Joplin sings, she performs at the Newport Pop Festival, which my mom has she had the album. I have the album somewhere in the basement, I think. Isn't that crazy that I have that album? But anyway, if you watch the documentary, it's like the first time Janis Joplin performs live for like a big deal, big people. And Mama Cass and her friend, it's not the other girl that was in the band, I can't remember what her name is, but it's a friend of hers. They're sitting like in the front row, and it scans them. And when Janis starts singing, like literally Mama Cass loses her mind. Like you can see on her face, like she's blown away. Like they've never heard anything like Janis Joplin before in their life. Okay, I have the 70s on 7, which is Boss Skaggs, Lido Shuffle. I don't know that song. And then 80s on 8, Naked Eyes, Always Something There. Okay, that song is okay. It reminds me of my youth too. 90s on 9, Blues Traveler, Run Around. Oh my God, that cracks me up. I remember that song. And the Pop 2K, LeAnn Rimes, I Need You. I'm not a big LeAnn Rimes fan. I never have been. Isn't that funny? Anyway, but I was listening to that 90s at 9 and they were playing that George Michael song, I Want Your Sex. Do you guys remember that song? I had totally forgotten about that. But do you remember back in the day, the supermodels? I was obsessed with those supermodels. Linda Evangelista, Naomi Campbell, and Christy Turlington. Oh my God. I mean, they were the supermodels. They were the ones that said that they didn't get up for less than $10,000 a day. But I loved them. I was obsessed with them. And you know what? On YouTube recently, I was looking up stuff to see like where they're at today, and I had watched some interviews. You know, like when you watch something on YouTube, then it like recommends stuff that's similar to that. I had watched an interview of Linda Evangelista on the David Letterman show, and which is interesting because on the thing she says something about, like, I think Robert De Niro is on the show at the same time, and she meets him, like, backstage, and she's talking about it, which later is interesting because I think that Naomi Campbell and Robert De Niro dated, actually. I think they were a couple for a while. But, so I wanted to see, like, what they're doing today and stuff like that. They all have Instagrams and stuff. Linda Evangelista, like, interviews a lot of people, I think, on her YouTube channel and stuff now. I mean, they were just... Anyway, Christy Turlington has an entire documentary just about her. And it's called something like Couture or something. And then it's like, and then it's just like all about like, just like they're in it as well, but it's all just about her. Did you ever see the documentary? Alex was watching something the other day. I think it was Andy Cohen, and Isaac Mizrahi was on there. And there was a documentary that came out long, I think it was called Unzipped. And it was with Isaac Mizrahi, and it was like his fall-winter show, a collection, and it was talked about, like, it showed him from the inception and, like, putting it all the way through, and they were all in it, too. Like, Naomi Campbell. And I mean, that was the time that they were like, they walked every show. I mean, they walked every show. You were not a fashion designer if you didn't have them in your show. Do you remember that? And I was thinking about the rest of them, like Kate Moss and what's the one, Nikki something. Oh, she's gorgeous. And Elaine Irwin, that ended up marrying John Mellencamp. And she was beautiful. She was in those shampoo commercials. That's how Isabella Rossellini got her start too. She was a model, I think. I used to love her so much. Did you ever see that movie, Cousins? Oh my God, I loved that movie. And then, Kate Moss, did I say her? I loved Kate Moss back in the day. And, she and her daughter own a clothing line now. Who else? Cindy Crawford was like a really big deal. I wasn't ever like a huge Cindy Crawford fan. My dad loves Cindy Crawford. Cindy Crawford, and who was the other one that he loved? That was a swimsuit model. Oh shoot. Kathy Ireland. My dad was like, he thought she was gorgeous. My dad is so funny. I can remember like, this is probably like 15 years ago now, but I said something to my dad about, like, who do you think is the most, God, probably 20 years ago, maybe more than that. Who do you think is the most beautiful woman in the world? And my dad said, Jennifer Aniston. And I'm like, can somebody please explain to me this Jennifer Aniston thing? You know, I understand she looks like the girl next door and all that kind of stuff, but my God, she's had the same haircut for 35 years, okay? Like, and she's fine. I like Jennifer Aniston. I think she's funny. I like her in videos, you know, or like, I like her in interviews and stuff like that. I mean, she's not like, for me, like a Nicole Kidman or Gwyneth Paltrow type. I like her, you know? And, but I don't understand the attraction about Jennifer Aniston that everybody else has. And my dad did not watch Friends, so it's not the Friends thing. You know, I kind of feel like, because Alex thinks she's like super good looking. And I'm like, do you really? And I'm like, babe, what is it about her? And he's like, she's just so hot. And I'm like, Jennifer Aniston? Like, I just don't see it. I don't know what it is. But like, for me, I'm always like blown away by people that have really like something eccentric about them. Like, I love things that are real different. Like, I mean, these aren't things that are real different, but something that makes somebody look not like everybody else, you know, like big gaps in their teeth, or like my husband, like, he's real insecure about his ears, but like, well, he's not anymore, but like when he was growing up, he was, because he had big ears, he said. But like, I love my husband's ears. I think like that's one of my favorite parts of his body. I mean, I wouldn't say that's my favorite part, but anyway. But I like when people, you know, I'm not somebody that like, I did love like the fashion models and stuff back in the day, but like today, like, I kind of like am, like, I like when somebody's like a little bit heavier and they kind of own it. Like, that's kind of sexy to me in like a guy that's like, you know, everybody's talking about the dad bods and stuff like that. I'm not talking just about like you go to the gym 5 days a week but you still eat what you want to eat. I'm talking about like, you know, that you're comfortable in your skin. I think that that's sexy, you know, and you seem comfortable in the clothes that you wear, and I just love different stuff about people. I love things that make people unique, you know, and that they kind of own it. It's so funny because I've always loved freckles on people. And everybody that I knew that ever had freckles would be like, tried to hide it, you know? Like my girlfriends would hide it with like concealer and stuff. And they'd say, oh, I hate my freckles, I hate them. And now everybody wants freckles, you know? Don't you think that's funny? Like, all the kids are wanting to do that, use that freckle makeup and stuff like that. I think you have to embrace those parts of ourselves that make us different, you know? I really, really struggled for a long time in letting my hair go white because I thought, God, I'm gonna look so old and whatever. But you know what's so interesting about it is, not so much now that I'm 48. There's a lot of 48-year-old guys that have white hair. But, you know, I let my hair go, like, when I was, like, 39, 40. I think 39. And there weren't a lot of people that had all white hair at 39. And my hair is not salt and pepper. I mean, my hair is white. So, you know, I really struggled with it at first. And then what happened over time, people would just be like, your hair is so beautiful. They'd say, you've like such a pretty color of white hair. People were so nice about it, you know? And then a lot of people ask me, they're like, how do you get your hair to be like so shiny or that color or whatever? And I'm like, shampoo and conditioner. But let me tell you, one of the best things that ever happened as a result, my hair looks bad tonight, but let me tell you one of the best things that happened as a result of me stopping coloring my hair. So if you don't know the story, my hair started turning, it was more salt and pepper then, but my hair started turning white when I was 23. I don't know why, but it did, and like drastically. And so I colored my hair from 23 till 39. It was expensive. I went in every 3 weeks and got my hair cut and colored, and because you know you have to get it cut on top of that because like the rootage is, you know, so it looks, you know, whatever. And it just was a lot. And so on our wedding, I didn't bring an electric razor with me. I don't know why. And I like had gone long enough where, because I didn't have a beard before then. If you look at my wedding pictures, I have brown hair and I don't have a beard. So I had gone long enough without shaving that I needed an electric razor. Like I just couldn't, I could have used a straight razor, but it just would have hurt. And so I said to Alex, do you think I should just grow it out while we're on vacation or whatever? And he said, yeah, why don't you do that? And so I did. And I had kind of always wanted a beard anyway. And the funny thing about it is I never would have had a beard when my mom was alive because my mom would always like touch my cheek. And I think she always saw me as kind of like, you know, she'd be like, oh, you know. And I think like it would have been, I don't know, like I just think my mom, I don't know that she wanted to see old man Pete as her son, you know what I mean? So, but I'd always kind of wanted to have a beard and see what it would look like. And so I did. I started growing it out, and it came in white and my hair was brown. And I didn't know what to do because I was like, well, I can color my beard. And well, I even got my hair colored one time so she could kind of like try to match my beard, because my beard at that time wasn't coming in all white. Like it's all white now, but it was coming in kind of like salt and pepper patchy. It just was a lot of upkeep. So I was at my dad's house and I said, my dad, you know, he has white hair and a beard. And I said, I don't know what to do about my hair. What do you think I should do? Or I don't know why I was asking him, but he said, just let it go. He said, quit fighting it. He said, what are you going to try to do? Look 20 for the rest of your life? He said, just quit fighting it, you know? He said, just let it go. He doesn't enjoy it, you know? He's like, he said something about, well, I had seen this saying with Diane Keaton on Oprah, where Oprah asked her if she had had any plastic surgery, which is funny coming from my dad because he was a plastic surgeon. He's retired now, but, and she said no, she hadn't had any, that she wanted to age authentically, but if she decided that she wanted some plastic surgery down the road, then she would get some and she wouldn't feel bad about it, right? And I've always kind of liked that. I do think there's a complete double standard for men and women in our society. My mom and I used to talk about that all the time. Like, I feel like I've gotten hit on more in the last 5 years since I've gained weight and my hair gone white and I have a beard than I ever was hit on in my entire life before, period, from men and women. Although I rarely get hit on by men, but, and I don't get hit on by a lot of women when I'm moving and stuff like that. But, you know, like if I'm just sitting somewhere, like getting looks and stuff like that, you know, you can tell when somebody's looking at you. But anyway, I don't get a lot of it anyway, but, more now than I did with brown hair and trying to keep all that up. And I was like, you know, my dad's right. Like, I'm gonna let it go and I'm gonna quit fighting it. And I did. And one of the things that's fantastic is, before I had to use all these color treated shampoos and conditioners that were expensive just to hold on to the color as long as I could. Now I get to use any kind of shampoo and conditioner that I can find that I like, that smells good or whatever, you know? And I love it. Although I've been buying stuff recently. Well, the Duke Cannon shampoo and conditioner in the men's section at Target is supposed to be a thickening shampoo, and I love it. And I swear to God, it is a thickening shampoo. It's like this Duke Cannon news anchor products. I really like the face wash and a shampoo conditioner. It's a mix of one, which before I would never have used a shampoo and conditioner that was the same, but now I do. Well, I go through different things. I'm also using, what's it called? Beach Bum shampoo and conditioner. It smells really good. It smells like coconut. And then I bought this Malibu or Maui stuff, which I thought was gonna smell so great, and I got it home and it didn't, and I'm just I feel like I shouldn't have bought it. It was a waste of money. And then Aquage, I love Aquage shampoo and conditioner. But my favorite, I think, is the Sol de Janeiro shampoo and conditioner, but it's $45 a bottle. But I have had the shampoo and conditioner now for probably 6+ months, and I'm still using it. So I swear by the Sol de Janeiro products, but they are expensive. But yeah, I don't feel like I have to worry about it. I can go in a pool, I can go in the sun. And actually, one of the things I love is that chlorine and the sun, like just going to the beach or whatever, makes my hair whiter. It makes it shinier, and I love that. So I don't have to worry about it as much anymore, which that is so nice. It's kind of just like I have a friend of mine, and she's letting her hair go white. She's letting it go gray, and she said something about like worried about it making her look so much older, and she's like, do you think it will? And I said, I think it'll make you physically look older. I said, but the freedom that you're gonna feel as a release of it is, I think, like, for me, it's totally valuable, you know? Like, it was so much upkeep, you know? And it just wasn't worth it. I said, I think you're gonna be much happier. So, Tanya laughed. She's like, not me, I'm coloring my hair. But Tanya doesn't really need to color her hair because she doesn't really have that much white hair anyway. Her hair is like naturally blonde. And then she goes out in the sun in the summer and it's like white blonde like that. And she does get highlights in it, but she doesn't get like heavy highlights in her hair or anything like that. Tanya has a beautiful color of hair. And so does my husband too. Alex used to color his hair quite a bit, different stuff. Darker, lighter. He had blonde highlights in it at one point. I love it just dark, the color that it is right now. I think it looks so good. And I like it a little bit longer. Like right now, I really like his hair right now. I think it looks really good. It's really sexy. But I just like the natural stuff, you know? The natural look. I remember my mom used to say she wanted to let her hair go white. And she's like, but it'll age me 30 years. And she's like, you know, as much as I don't care, at the same time, I don't want to look 30 years older. I always felt bad for her, you know? And she'd say, yeah, men can let their hair go white and they look experienced and wise. But if women let their hair go white and gray, it looks like we don't care about ourselves anymore. She'd say it was a total double standard. And I always felt so bad for her, you know, because I think there's so much truth in that. Not by everybody, but I think the whole, like, lookism of the world that we live in, you know, I think people do judge that. Although, I have to say that I feel like that's changed a little bit. Oh, the battery's dying in the last couple years. And I will say I love the Joan Didion, you know, the author, she writes memoirs, and she's an essayist. Joan Didion with the Celine ad. Oh my God, and the camera's going out and everything. Come on, get back into focus. Where she has a big... Okay, the battery is dying. It was out of focus, and I also think that it stopped because I was at the end of 30 minutes. So, I need to get off here right now before the camera completely dies, okay? Anyway, I hope that you guys are... I was going to say, I love the Joan Didion campaign, and I like any emphasis on people being, you know, owning their uniqueness, their difference, their age, whatever about them. I love that. I think we should all do that. I think we should embrace who we are and, you know, own that authenticity about ourselves and love those parts of ourselves, you know, that maybe don't look like everybody else, right? I think we should do that. I love that. So I'm attracted to people that do that and own that, and it just is, I think it's so cool. And anyway, so I hope that you guys, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I gotta get off here. It's gonna die any second. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Be kind to one another. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Yeah, put out some love, kindness, compassion, hope, wonder, awe, tolerance, and amazement into the world. And most importantly, love, like it says in the 4 agreements, always lead with love. And I love you guys, and I hope that you are having an amazing Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!